Quick timeline of Indonesia history. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago nation, a crossroads of trade, culture, and empires stretching back thousands of years. Its story is not just about kings, revolutions, and colonizers, but also about the persistence of diverse peoples across more than 17,000 islands. To appreciate how modern Indonesia emerged, we can walk through a timeline of its major historical milestones, from prehistoric settlements to the dynamic republic of today. Prehistoric Indonesia, the dawn of humanity before the first millennium BCE. Archaeological evidence reveals that Indonesia has been inhabited for at least 1.5 million years. Some of the earliest human fossils in the world were found here. Homo erectus, Java man. Fossils were discovered in the late 19th century by Eugène Dubois along the Solo River in Java. These date back nearly 1.3 million years, making Java a cradle of early humanity. Later discoveries in Flores revealed the Homo floresiensis, the hobbit, a small-bodied hominin species that lived as recently as 50,000 years ago. By 40,000 years ago, modern humans had arrived, bringing stone tools, rock art, and early settlements. The people spread across islands, adapting to different environments, fertile volcanic valleys, dense rainforests, and coastal plains. Early Indonesians were skilled seafarers, capable of long oceanic voyages, a trait that would shape the archipelago's destiny as a maritime hub. Early agriculture and Austronesian expansion, 2000 to 500 BCE. Around 2000 BCE, waves of Austronesian-speaking peoples migrated into the islands from Taiwan and the Philippines. They brought with them wet rice agriculture, which transformed Java and Bali into centers of dense populations. Seafaring skills allowing Indonesians to link distant islands and trade across the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Megalithic traditions, seen in sites such as Nias and Sumba, where giant stone tombs and statues were erected. By 500 BCE, Indonesia was part of a larger Austronesian cultural network, stretching from Madagascar to Polynesia, a maritime heritage that still defines its identity today. The rise of Hindu-Buddhist kingdoms, 1st to 13th century CE. Trade brings new religions. The 1st century CE saw Indonesian islands integrated into the Indian Ocean trade network. Merchants from India and China brought not only goods, spices, silk, and precious metals, but also ideas, religions, and writing systems. Sanskrit inscriptions appear in Indonesia around the 4th century, marking the influence of Hinduism and Buddhism. Key early kingdoms. Kutai, 4th century CE, in East Kalimantan, is the earliest known Hindu kingdom, with inscriptions honoring Vishnu. Tarumanagara, 5th to 7th century, in West Java, thrived under Hindu influence, leaving Sanskrit stone inscriptions. Srivijaya, 7th to 13th century, based in Sumatra, became a powerful Buddhist maritime empire. It controlled the Malacca and Sunda Straits, earning wealth from trade and attracting pilgrims and scholars, including the famous Chinese monk Yi Jing. Mataram, 8th to 10th century, in central Java, was a center of both Hinduism and Mahayana Buddhism, producing monumental architecture. Golden Age of temples. The 8th to 9th centuries gave rise to Indonesia's most iconic monuments. Borobudur, the world's largest Buddhist temple, a vast mandala of stone reliefs narrating the Buddhist cosmos. Prambanan, a towering Hindu complex dedicated to Shiva, adorned with Ramayana reliefs. These structures reveal a synthesis of Indian influence with local artistry, distinctively Indonesian yet globally significant. The Majapahit era, the archipelago's greatest empire, 13th to 16th century. By the 13th century, a new power emerged on Java. Majapahit, 1293 to 1527. Founded by Raden Wijaya after defeating Mongol forces sent by Kublai Khan, Majapahit expanded into the largest empire in Southeast Asian history. At its height under Gajah Mada, the great prime minister, Majapahit claimed suzerainty over much of present-day Indonesia, Malaysia, and parts of the Philippines. Majapahit's strength lay in maritime trade, diplomacy, and cultural integration. Literature flourished with works like the Nagarakretagama, a Javanese epic that celebrated the empire's grandeur. The empire was also a melting pot of Hinduism, Buddhism, and local animist beliefs. Though Majapahit's power waned in the 15th century, its memory became a symbol of Indonesian unity centuries later, inspiring the modern national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. The arrival of Islam, 13th to 16th century. While Hindu-Buddhist kingdoms flourished, a quiet revolution was underway. Islam arrived through traders, Sufi missionaries, and intermarriage along the coast. Unlike India's Islamic invasions, in Indonesia, conversion was gradual and voluntary, blending with local traditions. The earliest Islamic kingdom was Samudra Pasai, 13th century, in northern Sumatra.